Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you the recipe of Kashmiri delicacy, that is Goshtab. Goshtab is basically meatballs that are boiled in the soup or the gravy. Here I'm going to be using a vegetarian recipe for myself because I don't eat meat. So I have used soya chunks here. I'm going to mince the soaked soya chunks with garlic, green chili pepper and ginger. You can skip that. Please note that the original traditional recipe doesn't use garlic, onion or any such sort of things, but here since I am replacing soya chunks with the meat, I like the taste and I want it to be pleasing to my palate. So I'm going to be adding the spices of my choice: cardamom, asafoetida, salt, chili pepper, or whatever you prefer for yourself. You can do that. The traditional recipe also calls for simmering these meatballs for a very long time, but here we are not going to simmer the meatballs in the soup because there's a risk of these meatballs disintegrating, and I've tried that before and I wasn't successful. So I'm just going to be making the balls and frying them. Let's see. Here I've added a little bit of besan. You can add a little bit of rice flour if you like. The basan's sole job is to bind the meatballs. Otherwise I wouldn't use that, but since when I fry these, they kind of disintegrate into the oil, and that makes it really difficult for me to savor the taste. So here I'm going to be making these balls. And also let me introduce you to the recipe. It is a very relished recipe, and it basically constitutes of two words, that is gosht, that means meat, and ab, that means water. That if you literally take it, it's the soup of meat. So but meatballs are boiled into the soup for a very long time for the meatballs to get the spices infused in them and the flavor of the meat infused into the soup. So here I've fried the balls. As you see, I have just fried it for a few seconds and then I take them out because yes, they disintegrate, and two, because they will be very hard if you fry them for a very long time. So we just need them to be bound well to be able to be cooked into the soup. So here it is, very slightly fried meatballs. Now the gravy or the ab or the soup, whatever you want to call, I'm adding mustard oil. Mustard oil is very important. That is used in the traditional recipe. I'm going to be adding zira, hing, cloves, and badi ilaichi, black cardamom, little bit of choti ilaichi, the green cardamom, and now to water I'm going to add ginger powder and the fennel powder, that is saunf and sont. Mix it, switch off the gas flame, and then add the slurry into the oil. Make sure that the masalas don't burn, otherwise it will not give you that kind of flavor. That is why it's important to switch off the gas and make sure the oil is not very hot. So while I'm stirring the masala, I'm going to prepare another slurry. Now here I've added salt, in the meantime I'm going to add little rice flour and yogurt, mix them together. The quantity of rice flour depends on how thick you want the gravy to be. I like it very thick. Traditionally it's not very thick, so you can customize it. So I stirred the yogurt, and to the kadai I added a little bit of water, and then I added the yogurt and rice flour slurry, which I couldn't show. I don't know how I missed shooting that part. And now I've added everything. I've added salt. I'm going to let it boil. Once it's simmering and it thickens a little bit, as you see, it's very watery. Some people like it like that. I've added a little more water because it's going to thicken more due to the rice flour. I've added tej patta, I added it later. I forget half of the things most of the time. Now it's boiling for me. It's also thickened a little bit. I put it on a low flame. Actually, I switched off the flame, and now I'm going to put the soya chunk, the fried balls of soya chunks, or the meatballs, whatever you'd like to call it. I'm not boiling this into the gravy because these are soya chunks, not the real meatballs. But please make sure that if you're using real meatballs, you need to boil it. You need to simmer it at a very low flame for a very long time and then see the magic happen. It is amazing when you let it boil, let it simmer, and let all these spices infuse with each other. So here my vegetarian version of Goshtab is ready for you. Well, actually, for me. Well, I'm not good at making jokes, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed the recipe. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank